Boomer Rock waiting. What?
Boomer Rock waiting. You need to stop, please. All right, I'm going to pull up the chat. Just give me a second here.
There's nobody in. Got one. Oh,
And we'll get some people up to chat with us.
I'm still trying to get the chat and everything up.
I am too.
Oh, new banner. Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
There you are.
I am.
I like it too.
Well.
All right.
Okay, Kelly Paulson, Boomer, Paranormal Mama, Brian's Paranormal. About chat.
How is it going? Kelly Paulson, Boomer Rock, Paranormal Mama, and Boomer. How are you?
Okay. I'm serious. You are not. No.
Hope all is well with everybody. Everybody's ghostly and characteristically happy. It ain't JoJo under Boomer.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm on yours. I have to be on yours because if I switch the account to monitor your chat.
Okay, I think I got everything going now. As long as my internet holds out. It's been going out for the last 2 days. I got the internet guy is supposed to be coming by here to fix the internet tomorrow. He thinks we need a new drop line from the pole to the house.
All right.
So if I like disappear and then come back or disappear and stay disappeared, it's because my internet went out. But I should be going back from my phone. I have it charged. So hopefully everything will hold out.
Yeah. But, hey, Dawn Spirit Walkers Paranormal. How are you?
I just wanted to make sure that the change that I made, I did it online. I wanted to change.
Dawn Spirit Walkers Paranormal.
They have it on basic, but
he's got an outstanding channel.
And it's saying that
like really good channel.
How come we can't
Princess Spirits and Kitty.
Yeah. Hey, Francis.
My microphone set up here. Here we go.
Well, we are having our
third episode.
Yep.
Third episode so far, yeah. And it's still in creation, so it's like we're a little slow starting today. We're with everything that's been going on this week, and I've been having internet issues for the last couple of days and things like that. So bear with us. We're bound to have some glitches tonight. We always do.
Yeah, we're bound to have glitches. And I haven't heard from our guest. I'm hoping she wants up. She'll probably come in the chat anyway.
Yeah, I seen she did a live there earlier.
Yeah.
Well, not a live, but a video. I guess she was live when she did the video, but when I caught up to it, it had already been shut down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Allie. Allie Levisk is in the house, too.
Notifications just went out that we are live.
All right.
So that's good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to go tweet this out as well. Because you can never trust YouTube notifications to go out the way they're supposed to.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's crazy anymore. I wish they would fix it. I really do.
And here goes my internet again. It says I'm not connected, although I know I am because I'm talking to you still.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
When I go
You're here.
It says that I'm not subscribed to that.
I may have to tweet it out from my phone. Interesting.
That's different. I don't know. Like, they've messed with the system so much and the updates and everything.
No, with my internet, it's like right now I have internet, but it's like limited bandwidth.
Yeah.
If I load YouTube, or I'm on here, I
It
can't
was like
do
one before
anything.
you smoked the whole
Nothing
pack.
else will load. So I don't know what's going on. They're supposed to be here to fix it tomorrow. So hopefully they get the problem sorted out.
Yeah, so we've got Irish whiskey that just came in, Anarchy Jack, Colorado Explorers came in, and Walter Davis.
Aniki,
Because I got the package that
Awesome.
because I need like
Boomer.
They're awesome, man. See, and I love this community because it's like a family-oriented community.
Maybe it's the whole internet for the area because, like, even my phone, and I'm on LTE, doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Holy, why is it
I don't know.
just like that dark?
It is weird.
Why is it that dark?
Hi, my Allie. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Ghost. Hi, Brian. Hi, and JoJo. Hello, Anarchy. And Cook's Production Studios. Hello.
There we go.
Why went out?
Notification just came across my phone, so that's
Yep.
working. Sure.
Kelly Calfam. How are you? So, and Alexander Walker. Great to see you.
River?
So, and
guys,
HSFL Paranormal.
If you don't have Twitter, definitely get Twitter. Friend as many people on there as possible and tweet out your streams because that's going to help grow your channel immensely. I've had times where I went live and only had 4 people in there because notifications haven't gone out, and I wish that I would have been able to tweet out my stream then.
Oh, yeah.
It helps out greatly.
It does. It's one thing I'm happy about, you know, like you can tweet out on Twitter or anything to get get your videos out there.
Absolutely.
How are you, Paranormal Mama? Cook's Production Studios has a roll call list going on.
Roll call list.
Yep.
Yeah,
for his
do.
hellos.
HSFL Paranormal. Hey.
Daddy, I love you.
How's it going? I'm doing great. HSFL Paranormal.
Twitter. Everybody that's in here, follow each other on Twitter, follow on Facebook, all that stuff, because all those platforms, when you can share your stream or when you're going live, it'll help to get everybody in there. It's like I said, you cannot count on YouTube notifications going out. I've seen times where only 2 or 3 people got notifications, and the rest of them were like, "I didn't even know you were live."
Yeah.
TJ's Woodworking Shop. What's up, my friend?
How is it going, my friend, at TJ? So,
Falcon, I'm on the phone.
And Andre Pitts is in the house too.
Andre Pitts, what's up, Ghost Mafia?
Just working on my first double shift. Oh, nice.
So I'm thinking this week we'll start out with a Q&A because we're still working on trying to get our special guests up here.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions about paranormal or spirit boxes, equipment, or apps or anything like that, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to answer your questions as possible.
Yep.
What?
We can get all the questions answered that are needed as far as that goes.
We'll do our best to answer your questions to the best of our abilities. I can't guarantee that we're going to solve any problems, but we're going to try.
Yep. We have PSPR Paranormal as well.
Kelly Polson says, my place is haunted.
Oh, wow, Kelly. How many spirits do you think you have, Kelly?
Smash that like, guys. Yes, Don Spirit Walker. Definitely. Smash that like button. Ring that
Hey,
back.
Shadow Walker. Yeah. So any questions? Sorry, Ghost. Go nuts.
No, you're good.
Any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask me and Ghost Mafia, and we'll answer them for you.
Even still, adding those two
No
packets,
problems.
what,
No
extra
questions
$15
asked.
for-
So no panel. No, we're still having a panel tonight.
Yep.
We've got a couple special guests. Host is supposed to be in, but we're
yeah.
going to try to get.
Now, with that
We're waiting for
does
Amy
everything come in it?
come in, and we're going to try to get her up on panel because we tried last week and Google Hangouts wasn't cooperating with us. So if she comes in, we're going to try to get her up here on panel with everybody, and then probably pick another one or two out of the chat.
Then we'll get this panel rolling.
But you know, I see a lot of people saying that they live in haunted houses and things like that, and I think at this point, probably 70%
don't need those.
of the houses being lived in have some kind of spiritual activity, whether it's noticeable or not. Rant Jams, hello. What's going on, Rant Jams?
Hey, Rant Jams. Like, that's right, Ghost. So, like, there is a lot of properties that you find anymore that either someone has died at or there's been a tragic accident and the ghosts are not at their time to leave yet, and basically they're stuck in our world till they have their peace. Like I know that Omar posted a video, and I watched it yesterday. It was kind of creepy. It was about an old abandoned mansion, and it was Midnights that lived there at first, and they paid $300,000 for the property back then. And then Ailey loves Lily, and then basically it was like the scariest video I've seen him do yet. Ghost and everything else.
You go pick up Ambrosia.
Haley loves Lily.
Oh, okay.
I live next to a massive cemetery and an old Indian burial ground. Plus, where I used to live used to be a crime. In fact, wow. HSFL Paranormal. That is kind of scary.
That stupid dog bed.
I have a story, but the only issue is it's way too long to type. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? AKA Fam Bam.
Mommy, can you put him on Mr. Iron?
Okay, TJ the Weatherman's in here. He says hello.
Hey, Martini. Hey, TJ.
He's awfully quiet on panel sometimes.
Oh yeah, he is.
Funny. He is funny.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, the Monster Iron.
I actually did a recording in my kitchen, and just before the end there was an orb, and it split into two. Is that normal for an orb to do that?
Access that through the on-demand?
Well, Kelly, in that situation, it could have been like two spirits that were enrolled together, basically side to side, and then they just parted ways from there.
Okay.
I've never really seen an orb do that.
So what is the bill point now that?
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah, before I got
I'm still here.
What is this orb ding ding? What is the dang orb ding ding?
You can hear me, right, Ghost?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Or actually,
Okay.
I was just trying to follow the chat. It's starting to move kind of fast.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Any word from Uber Goober lady yet?
Yeah. It just makes me really mad. Like, why are you mad at me?
No.
I
Okay, well,
wonder
Boomer
why.
says he's on deck standby if she doesn't show. He
All right.
He'll come back up if you want him to.
Oh, yeah. I have the video on my Facebook. Nice, Kelly. I will definitely look at that. My son's house is said to be haunted. Was owned by a church for viewings.
I grew up there and said she saw people ghosts when she was little, and now they're 6 months
I used to
old.
work in a call center. I know.
Wow.
All the families in here.
Are you in?
Uber Goober lady just came in.
There she is. Yep.
Pardon?
She's gonna get on her PC in the office.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Hey, Rachel. Oh, thanks, Rachel.
Now is
Hey,
her
War Pigs.
is her friend coming on with her, or
I have no idea.
okay?
I could ask her.
Oh, I'll wait till she gets up on panel. We'll see.
Oh yeah. And we
Now,
got
about
Cal's.
about the orb situation. I mean, now I'm not one of these people that really puts a lot of faith in like the orbs, because there's so many different types. There's you know, orbs can be water droplets in the air. It can be dust in the air. I mean, anything that's going to reflect any kind of light that's smaller than the eye can see can turn into an orb on a photo or a video or anything like that. So it's hard to distinct from an actual true orb, you know, with spiritual activity and just dust in your house or, you know, things like that. They'll all be subject to the airflows in your house and things like that as well. It's just so hard to distinguish between all the different types of orbs, whether they're the actual, you know, spirit or, you know, just dust or, you know, dew falling in the evening if you're outside, things like that.
Yeah.
She says, okay, I'm on my other PC.
Okay, Uber Goober lady. You have her email, right, Ghost?
No, JoJo has it.
All right, she's gonna get it.
What?
Yeah, she's going on tonight.
On here?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Okay.
Oh wow, Shadow Walker Paranormal. I was alone in my house and I keep hearing footsteps up.
I keep hearing footsteps.
Up and down.
One thing you can do, Shadow Walker, and there's a couple of different apps. Okay, just look up in your app store on your phone, like Scope, and what that is, it's a it uses the vibration from the phone, and you can set the sensitivity on it, and you can set that in an area
like how much did
where you hear those footsteps, and if it picks up the vibration from the actual footsteps, it'll sound an alarm. And it'll validate some of your, you know, what you're hearing is real. There's actual physical contact with what you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So you might try something like that. What's the app's name? Just look up any Geoscope. Geoscope.
Yeah.
There's many different ones.
My TV and washer have randomly gone on and shut off. I had an item thrown off a shelf at Brian's Paranormal. My K2 meter constantly goes off. Wow.
I mean, I've seen TVs that do that. Machine, the washer, that's a little different because usually the washers have like the pull knob to start, unless they're electronic. But most of them, the older washers, you got to turn the dial and then pull out to start it. So that would be evidence of some kind of physical contact right there, where they're actually starting the washer. You know what I mean?
Rachel, Miss M is asking if either of us have ever been touched by paranormal spirits.
I'm sure that I have. I've been on so many so many ghost hunts and things like that.
Because you can't
The
turn
most
it up
memorable
without
one that I can remember, we were doing a cemetery here in Bel Air, Ohio, where Jacob Hetherington was buried. Jacob Hetherington owned the Bel Air mine,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of haunted history with that. And we were up there. We had other people with us. There was a mausoleum there, and they started messing around in the cemetery and knocking on the mausoleum door and going, "Hey, is anybody home? Anybody home?" And just shortly after that, I started getting splitting headache, like really bad. And one other person was starting to act weird. We put a crucifix on him. It's immediately after we put the crucifix on him, he started throwing up. The crucifix actually burnt his skin. And
wow.
we said a prayer and got everybody out of there. And as soon as I left the cemetery, my headache was gone.
Yeah.
So it was definitely some sort of an attack. And I think it was provoked by them goofing around and knocking on mausoleum doors and, "Hey, are you home?" Doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yes, it is paranormal, Mama.
Yeah.
We're just starting to get over the other situation. So we got Connor McGuire in here and Jerry Koralchuk.
That's all I need to know.
So many new faces, names in the chat. I'm loving this though.
I hope you guys.
I am too. I love it. We have 24.
Brian, can you send it via tweet?
Oh yes. We can do that, Uber Goober lady.
I sent her the invite.
She says, "Can you send it via tweet at Uber Goober lady?"
Give me a
Yeah.
second. Like I was dealing with a bill.
Hey, Bella1313, greetings. No problem, Uber Goober lady. We'll get it to you. No problem. Yeah, like there is so many. It's okay, Uber Goober lady. Don't be sorry. There's like so many different things. Yeah, Rachel. And to answer your question, Rachel, I was not like full on for days possessed, but I have been possessed by a demon before. So touching the impact of being touched by a spirit is totally been in my favor at one point. It was I don't know how to explain it. Like I didn't full on feel it. It was there, and then like it lasted like 20 minutes, and then it was gone.
Uber Goober lady has entered.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, Uber Goober lady.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I had somebody over here getting my house fenced or an area for my dogs.
It's okay, Uber Goober lady. It's great to see you.
Well, good to see you guys too. Let me get the chat pulled up here.
Yep.
Fast and Fearless. Greetings from Ireland. Stopping by to show support. Nice.
Ireland. Nice.
We are going international with this, Brian.
Oh yeah, we are. I'm loving it too.
Out too for y'all. So
awesome.
Thanks, Uber Goober lady.
Hey, you're welcome, Brian. How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing
great.
Hey, Jojo.
Uber Goober lady, you have any stories you want to share with us?
Well, sure. I can tell one that just happened here not about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Awesome.
I do a paranormal Friday nights.
Yep.
And we were actually talking about, hey, HSFL, we were actually talking about angels, I believe. And during that time, I kept writing while Paula, my co-host, was talking about angels. And I kept writing things down on this notepad. Now, I just got done taking this class from a very well-known psychic and medium. So was told to follow my intuition. I've always been an empath. So I just kept writing everything down. And at the end, actually, Paula kept coming up with something in the chat. We were talking about angels, and there was a lady that came in and said that she had lost her son, and that she wanted to get a hold of Paula to see about doing a reading. So anyway, after the chat was done, I talked to Paula, and I said, listen, this is what I saw. I'm going to tell you what happened. And I flipped through my notes, and I still have the notes. They're right here. And I wrote blonde, short hair, heart, in his 30s, he's okay, twin bed, patchwork blanket or quilt, and he was laying on his side. And that's exactly what I wrote here at that time. And I said, I don't know what about it, but he's still with me, and he's doing okay. And so the next Friday night, we were talking about another subject, I think stones. And I said I had to stop everything. And I said, listen, everybody, because we had to cut the stream short last week, I want everybody to know was concerned about me, that I'm okay, and this is what happened. And Paula said, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, yeah, I need to. And so I told the story. And about this time, there was a lady that came in the room, and she said, could you repeat this, please? So I repeated it, and she said, Uber, that is my son. Everything is to a T, except he was only 25 when he passed away. And I thought for a minute, and I said, how many years ago was this? And she said 5.
Wow.
I just got chills.
And I said, the patchwork quilt, that was the main thing. And while I was talking to her, he was right beside me. And he kept telling me, when she said he was 25, he kept telling me, no, I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s. And so I said, he keeps telling me he's in his 30s. She said, well, he was 25 when he passed. And I said, how long ago was that? And she said, 5 years ago. This is all on tape. I believe it was 5 or 7. I can't remember now. But anyway, I said I was worried about the patchwork quilt because that was the main thing that stood out on me. And she said, yes, that he was in his bed. And he had a patchwork quilt. So that's one of the stories I've got.
Wow, that gave me some chills, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That really gave me chills. That was like.
Yeah, that was the first time that I trusted my instincts. I wrote everything down and gave it back out. And it gave me chills. He was with me the rest of that evening. And then I meditated, and I haven't talked to him since.
And that's the first time you ever like harnessed that ability, or?
No, I've harnessed it before, but I've been afraid to talk about it or believe in my feelings. So,
wow.
When they get stuck, they still keep aging in their mind.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The aging process still goes on.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bridget.
So that's one of my stories. I've got a few others, but I'll wait.
1 minute.
Wow.
If you have more stories, go right ahead. Tell.
Well, okay, I don't know if you've all heard of C. Marie. We call her Carmen. She has a channel. She's an artist. And she lives in a very, very old home that has been haunted for years. She does videos on her channel. Very sweet, sweet lady. Anyway, we finally talked her into coming up on panel. And this is also on a recording. It's all recorded. And we were talking about her demons. She has been physically touched while she's been laying down. And about that time that we were talking about that, her paintbrushes on her desk flew off of her desk. And then a short time later, we heard a knock, just like somebody was knocking, and it was coming from Paula. Paula stopped the stream and had all of her witches in there, and all the people in there surround themselves with white light and for guidance. But we heard a distinct 3 knocks. Everybody heard it. Everybody's hands were visible. Nobody did it that had mics. And my computer started going weird, glitched. And then when the stream was over with, we had a couple other, Sylvia, who is also she's a paranormal investigator. She went through and she saw orbs coming through behind Paula. And yeah, it was quite the stream, very, very emotional. Very emotional. And it scared Marie so bad she had to get off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I still, when I carry my crucifix with me.
Yeah, and, that's always.
And my stones are with me. So, yeah.
If you guys in the chat haven't checked out Goober Lady's chat or channel, definitely check her out. Vesper is dropping a link for Goober Lady's channel. Go over there, show her some love.
Hey, Clayton the Dark Ghost, how are you?
A little bit about your channel. I know you were saying you have a co-host when you do your show on Friday.
Yeah. Paula, she's amazing. She's got.
You think she'd want to come up on panel with you?
Oh yeah, she sure would.
Yeah,
she sure probably would.
If you know her email address or whatnot to bring her on.
Yeah, let me tweet her real quick and see if she would come up.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd love to have her.
I know it's it's only 9:30 where she's at. Let me get a copy of this just in case she wants to come up. She's amazing. She's a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
She is amazing.
She's a witch too, right?
Yes, she's a witch. She's a reggae. She's a teacher. She's a medium.
Yeah.
Boomer says that he's got a good story that he could share.
Ooh.
Boomer Rock.
Boomer, if you haven't, well, you probably know who Boomer Rock is.
Yes, I've seen
he has 3 channels. There's Boomer Being Real, the Boom Boom Room, and Boomer Behind the Brush. He's quite an accomplished painter. He's really good at it.
He is really good, yeah.
Daddy.
You're not having a bath. I'm on panel.
I'm dirty, but you can't see.
Yeah, JoJo's up in the bathroom, so once she gets back down, she's doing the computer part.
And I've seen Amy writing blogs in the chat too. We definitely want to try to get her up on there because we were trying last week to bring her up to share her story, and Google Hangouts wasn't working for us, and I was just about to message her, and my message came back from the store.
Yeah. I seriously think we should get Amy up here.
Yeah.
Because we've promised so many times, right? And
well, last week we tried for over an hour to try to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vesper. I appreciate you guys having me on tonight.
Oh, we appreciate you being here, Mrs. Goober Lady.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem. It's like okay. At Brian's Paranormal, I think it will now. Okay, Amy. It has been a while, my flatline. How are you? Yeah, we will get Amy up here for sure.
Let me see if I can pull up her email. I don't know. Well, you guys are running it from your end. I won't be able to add her. I'll have to get the email. But that's okay. I think I can manage that.
We got JoJo Walker in the chat now. Should we make Brian smile? I always smile. Yeah, I know it's awesome to see you again, Uber Groover Lady, and I'm gonna start
Thanks,
coming to
honey.
your I'm gonna start coming to your streams a lot more.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Tomorrow night, Friday nights are our paranormal nights.
Okay.
And tomorrow, actually, we have a lady that'll be on that lived in a haunted home for several years that kept burning to the ground.
Oh wow.
So it should be quite the story.
We get the other two Monday for a week. Oh yeah, that's enough to make me smile ear to ear.
Amy, I sent you a message in the Hangouts conversation that we had last week.
Yeah. And then I'll just add I'll add her when we can to the panel here. Because you just go to the little person at the top and invite the person, right?
Yeah, just type in the email and hit send.
I couldn't get it to answer when JoJo sent it out, so I don't know what happened there.
Mine was doing the same
I don't know.
Answer.
That's why I thought, well, heck, we'll just do the other.
Yeah. Oh, JoJo's yelling at me saying, give me a minute and I'll do it. All right, I won't touch her computer.
JoJo is the producer for the show for tonight.
Yeah.
We alternate nights. So like 1 week it'll be on Brian's Paranormal channel, and next week it's on Ghost Mafia channel.
That's pretty cool.
That way we share the view time and everything too.
Right.
Yeah. Because we figure if we're doing these panels, we can each share the view time and do whatever, and it's just easier that way.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Well, I'm actually hoping that once they get my internet fixed tomorrow and I up the bandwidth a little bit, I can literally stream it live from my channel, but put the link in the description for everybody to come over here to the chat, and we can set it up like that. So we're getting view time for every week.
Right. That's a good
actually, Jerry had a good question there. And actually, Jerry, I actually used to rent a house from a police officer that was extremely haunted. And it was in Woodstock. And there was a lot of problems that I had with that house. Like my oldest son, Cody, got possessed in there. And there were noises and odd things happening here and there. And I actually, Jerry, called the police officer that I was renting from, and he came to the house with 2 more fellow officers and searched, and they couldn't find anything, but he ended up selling the property because of all the raw footage they got through the police station of what was seen in that.
You see, wow. I've never been asked by cops to help in a paranormal investigation type thing. However, I usually I
just need to know who I'm adding.
Search and rescue and things like that. I have been called out. We did one search for a person that had been missing for 9 days at the end of December one year. And we went down to an area where they thought that she might have been found. And
it's in the chat.
After searching that area for a few hours, and I was like, yeah, she's not here. I just don't feel that she's here. I think she's down by the river.
Yeah.
So we decided to go down by the river and search the shore of the river. And I sent, because I was the president of the squad at the time, and assistant chief. And the chief was out of town, so I was pretty much running the show. And so I sent one team and a cadaver dog north, and I took one team south. And we're going down through there, and the cadaver dog kept on going, and I got down through there, and I'm looking down in the water's edge, and it's December, so the water's frozen. There's a little bit of snow over top of it, and I see what looked like a garbage bag in frozen in the water's edge, and kind of looked a little closer, and I seen like a shoe sticking out of the water, and I started looking a little closer, and there was a foot in the shoe, and the what I thought was a garbage bag was her coat.
Oh my word.
And I found the body that they were looking for after it missing for 9 days. And
oh wow.
I called the group over there, and they're standing there, and everybody's just in silence at this point, and everybody's just staring. I looked to the left of me to the guy with the cadaver dog, and I looked to the right to the other person that was with me, and I said, all right, let's back out of here. Let's tape this off. Let's get the constables down here and, get this done respectfully, and keep all the civilians away from the area, and because it's going to take some time to get her up out of the ice and everything. So
how heartbreaking.
And
that was.
It took a few hours to get everything down, and after word gets out, you've got the local news outlet down there, you've got ambulances, you got fire trucks, you got the county coroner's van, you got, and you have to treat it like a crime scene no matter what. When you find something like that, whether it's a crime scene or not, you have to treat it as such.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, how heartbreaking.
That would have been. So did the spirit help you find her body? Is that what happened?
I can't say. I wasn't like hearing voices in my head saying come down here or anything like that. I just had that feeling that she wouldn't be found in that first place that they were looking for. She would be found down by the river. I had that. It was just kind of a gut feeling, and that's where I wanted to go and look.
Are you an empath, Ghost?
Not that I know of.
Hey, Ghost, can you send me, I just sent you a message on Hangouts through mine. Can you send me Amy's email?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I know I had it, but seeing it on our, I forget where she sent it to me at. I thought it was in Messenger. Amy, can you send me your email again in Google Hangouts?
That's scary though, Ghost. Like,
yeah, that really is. How sad. How long did that story stick with you?
Oh, that was January 26, 2001. It was my first wife's birthday, and my wife at the time was actually in the squad with me, and she was the person to my right.
Oh, my word.
And she had a lot of troubles with it. I mean, we had to go through, like, they brought in a counselor and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's normal when you find something like that. But hold on, I'm copying this to send it to JoJo real quick. But they brought in a counselor and everything, and I was fine with it because it's not the first body that I had found, but it was the first body that she had seen. And she said she didn't sleep for a long time after that because she could still see the woman's face from the photo in the newspaper, like when she would try to sleep and things like that. So it was like, I don't know, she had a lot of problems sleeping after that.
Right. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Was it a murder, homicide, or was it just?
Actually, it had turned out that the lady had been going through a divorce with her husband, and they had met up at this bar just down the way from where the body was found, and they had been discussing the children and where, custody and trying to work things out peacefully without getting into a big battle in courts and all that stuff. And evidently the husband had left there. He was still there when he left. He was back, and he had left. Evidently she went outside, she took some medication and passed out, fell into the water and drowned.
Oh.
And she was just kind of sitting on the boat dock all alone, and I don't know, it could have been a suicide type thing, or it could have been just she was
from the medication and the alcohol, maybe.
Yeah. Could have.
I'm wondering if she might have slipped in as well and like had no way of getting out.
Well, where she was, it wasn't very deep. I mean, it was only that deep. She wasn't like way down in the ice or anything. She was on the bank of the river, and her purse was still up on the catwalk that went down to the thing. So she literally just fell over the side of the catwalk and onto the bank.
Oh my goodness.
So my suspicions would probably be the alcohol and the medications, and she just passed out, fell over, and 9 days.
What a heartbreaking story.
Anybody finding her. 9 days.
9. Wow.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, they called us out because it'd been 9 days and there was a big snowstorm that was supposed to be coming. So they wanted to try to put out a major effort before the storm hit, because if that storm hit, they probably wouldn't have found the body until spring.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was one of those years that we had like 18 to 20 inches of snow that night. So literally, if we wouldn't have found her then, she wouldn't have been found for another month or two.
Right.
Oh.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's sad.
Rachel says, "Thank God she was found. I couldn't do that." Yeah, I've been on many searches like that where it's usually. I mean, we was on one where the guy was diagnosed with cancer and he went out hunting and he didn't come back, and we found him, and it was gruesome.
Yeah.
He had left a note and things like that, and for people to think that after being diagnosed with something like that there's no other way
I got
out.
all that.
Right.
It's sad to think that there's no other way out. There's nobody out there that understands what they're going through, or don't think that they can seek help because it wouldn't be, the manly thing to do, or you know what I mean? But
yeah, no telling what goes through their minds.
Right.
At that time and point in their life. Now, I know Paula, she has done, do you guys work with psychics at all? Mediums to help in a lost case? Because I know Paula, she's done that many times, worked with the police on missing people. And she found, I think, 3 or 4.
I can't say that I know that the police departments around here have ever done that, but you never know. I mean, usually if they do that, it's off the record, so to speak.
Yeah.
Publicized. So it's, it wouldn't have been papers or anything that they would have done anything like that. It's not to say that they might not have done that, but you wouldn't hear about it if they did.
Right. Well, she hasn't tweeted me back yet, so her and her husband might be laying low. I know he's been working nights. He's a police officer too, so.
Yeah.
Amy has joined the video call. Finally, we got her on the panel. All
hey,
right.
Amy.
Hi, Amy.
It's just so off, like 15 seconds off, so I just gotta fix that. So keep on going.
Oh yeah, we'll keep going. Yeah. So Amy, what have you experienced?
Okay, hold on one sec. I just want to make sure I end up hearing you. Okay. A couple things. Oh, now I can't hear everybody else. This is bizarre.
It's okay.
So, well, one of the ones in the house. My house is over 150 years old. So, surprisingly, I haven't even seen more than what I have. But I think it was a little after my daughter was born. The room she's in now. There was one time I woke up really quick and I saw, like, I can remember, like, so clearly, like, this boy, I'd say about, oh God, around 8, blonde hair. Like, he kind of reminded me, like, of what my brother looked like kind of when he was around that age. It was very quick, and that was it, and it was gone. My husband thought it was crazy. He kind of doesn't believe in ghosts, but I do. Another time was, forgive me if anyone's talking because I kind of muted it because it's behind.
It's
so
okay.
Just say shh or something if someone else is talking, because it's not all about me. And a couple times it's happened with the radio where all of a sudden it would go on. And well, actually, I should go back a little bit because when I was young, I was so afraid of death. Like, I know this sounds weird, but I couldn't even watch Little House on the Prairie because I knew those people would have died by now. And but until my friend passed away, she literally passed away right after my wedding with thankfully I invited her because she wasn't actually going to be invited because I was just so mad. I just wanted family. And so she got invited. And thank God, because that was the last time I seen her.
Oh,
Because her and her 3 daughters died in a fire in
Oh,
January,
no.
just before her birthday, which it's kind of weird because that's kind of changed the whole thing of how I think of death. And she's been in a dream, like a couple of dreams, and it just made me feel better. But the weird part is her sister was in this fire too, but she was the only one who survived. And it was kind of sad because a lot of people got on her because she was sleeping with the one daughter in this apartment, and she picked her up and put her down. And then a lot of people, why'd you put her down? Because she said she knew she already had died, so she went to the other kids to see if she could save them, and she just couldn't.
Yeah.
So later, years later, she got me to be her photographer. And it's so bizarre because some of the shots that I took, I realized different people would see something different. They'll say maybe it's because the lens reflected the water, whatever. But there were 4 orbs around her sister.
Wow.
And it was like one big one and then 3 little ones, which was so weird, but kind of like, actually I think the family kind of liked it in a way. Like, part of me is like, oh man, like it kind of in some ways ruined your picture that you have that, but then in other ways they just thought it was so great because it felt like they were there.
Yeah.
So yeah, she definitely changed. Trying to hear behind me. So yeah, those are some of my main stories. I'm surprised I don't have more though for where I live, because there was literally a war in the 1800s where I am, and my house, like I said, was over 150 years old, and it was moved from a different location, still in the same area, but moved here, closer to the war area actually. But I haven't seen too much stuff. I do get weird. I don't know how much, because I know you talk a lot about ghosts and not so much about psychic abilities and stuff like that. But I don't know who the other lady was talking about as her friend. But one girl I know, I think it's Anja or something, Anja. So she says she's a witch. I really like her. I watch her all the time. But I don't know. Is that who her friend is?
Her friend
name
is
Paula.
Paula. Okay.
BYO Spirit Paranormal.
Oh, okay. No, this one's not the same girl. I'm not sure what she's from. She has an accent. But yeah, I get like, I think the more weird part I have than even the ghost thing is like these weird thoughts that will happen in my head, and then like not thankfully nothing bad. It's just weird things, like I'll be like thinking of something, and next thing you know, it happens on, like, for instance, a TV or something.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Too big to have too much milk in there.
That is kind of bizarre, though.
Well, I'll give you one story. And I know maybe some people will say ironic and whatever, but it happens just so frequently. So quite a few years ago when Private Practice, Grey's Anatomy spinoff was on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was at my neighbor's, and we were talking about how we both like that show. And for some reason, we just started talking about how we hadn't, well, both of us didn't watch the show. It was recorded. We didn't watch it, anything. And we just all of a sudden started talking about how, how sometimes like fathers or mothers have left their babies in the car, and then they end up dying of heat because of the being left in the car. Well, so afterwards, I go watch the show. It's exactly what we were talking about.
Oh, wow.
And it was like so bizarre. It was like, how is that? Like, it happens all the time, like things that you wouldn't even think, like, I can see if it happens all the time, but something like you will not even hear about. And next thing you know, it's like I will think of it, and then next thing you know, it's on something, a plot or whatever. It's very, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I wish I really should write more down of when these happen, but it happens so frequently that I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
It's not I feel like I have something there, but I just don't know how to tap into it. Maybe I don't want to in a way, because that's a lot of power.
I mean, it's not like a deja vu experience, though. It's more like the universe is trying to send you a message, kind of thing.
I don't know what that message was, but it was definitely a bizarre message to just. I am a creative person, so I don't know if that's kind of it. Not that I'm making up my stuff, but I mean, I'm very artistic, and I don't know if that has something to do with it or bipolar. I don't know, but it's very, very weird.
Well, you were talking about your friends that had passed away coming to you in dreams and things like that. And I find that's a commonality with spiritual activity, especially with people that you know. I've actually experienced that with myself.
No, please, stop
it! Passing away.
Yeah.
I knew he was passing away. He was diagnosed with lung cancer. They were supposed to go in and do an exploratory surgery. When they opened him up, the air hit the cancer and it spread throughout his body, and he was dead within 3 days. And the same day that I was supposed to be going up on a plane to see him, that morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I knew he passed away. I didn't know how. I had a dream about him, and I knew that he had passed away. And my sister called me like 10 o'clock that day and was like, Dave, Dad passed away. I was like, I know. He passed away at like 7 o'clock this morning, didn't he? She's like, yeah. How'd you know that? Nobody called you yet, have they? I said, nope, you're the first. I said, but in a dream last night, I knew he passed away at 7 o'clock this morning. I said, so I'll be up there later on this afternoon. I'm getting on the plane at 1 and heading that direction, But,
wow.
I'm kind of happy that kind of hasn't happened to me, though. I mean, I guess I don't know. That would be a hard one. Mine's just like more, I don't know if you would want to say trivia at this point. Or sometimes it will be like, I used to be with my dad. He used to live far away. So he'd call just randomly, like who knows when. So you couldn't predict it. And all of a sudden he would pop into my head. And I'm like, I don't know why. It would just pop in my head. And then a little while later, he'd end up calling me. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty typical for people, though, I'm sure.
Hey, K10.
crazy, jeez.
Oh, yeah, that is crazy.
But as for the dream, it was kind of I kind of remember it was really weird because I seen her in it, and I was asking her different questions about God, and she said, I met him, and and being like really happy. The girls I didn't see, she said, I don't know, she said something about they were. It's so long since I remembered this, so I think it was something like. They almost gave me the impression like they're sleeping or they're away, kind of like they're kind of busy, but I was here to watch you. And then there was another one that really kind of freaked me out, but I vaguely remember it about something about my daughter, so it kind of spooked me out that I wasn't sure because she was talking about we were talking about my kids.
Wow.
Yeah, but otherwise I haven't seen her like forever, and now the whole thought of it, like remember how I said the radio? I'll be careful. I'll try to be PG about it. But so the stereo kept on. The one day I'm listening to Eagles, my record, and I'm in the kitchen washing, and then all of a sudden the music goes like blaring. So I go back and I turn it down. Go back in the kitchen, goes back up again. I go, you effing ghost! Stop playing with my radio! And it stopped. It did not do it anymore. Actually, hasn't happened since.
That's actually another common practice when you have spiritual activity in the house and it's just a hindrance like that, or just, it's just moving things around in your kitchen, or it's closing and open cabinet doors.
Yeah. Well, I think electronics is a big one.
And say, stop that. You're not welcome here. Get out. A lot of times it will actually stop and listen to you.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently it did like me swearing at it.
What's the most scariest or the most disturbing story that you could tell? Ghost.
Me?
Ghost.
Oh.
Most disturbing story that
there's so many stories out there, and
I've got tons of them. I mean, but it's not it. Okay, here's one, and it's not like a haunting story. Okay, It's disturbing, but it's not haunting. I am 17 years old. I'm working in Lansing, Michigan for a place called Universal Cleaners. And they do fire and flood restorations, trauma cleanups. And we get called to a Denny's restaurant at 3 o'clock in the morning where a guy who had been diagnosed with cancer had went into the men's room with a 44 Magnum and went.
Oh.
And I had to clean that mess up.
Oh, God.
That was disturbing.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Well, I used to be a PSW, so it was kind of bizarre to end up having to work. Like, there was a lot of people who end up passing away. Thank God I didn't end up seeing them later, but in their past life or whatever, they probably just went to a better place. But yeah, it was weird to be a person that was so afraid of death to end up literally being in these people's well, I didn't necessarily I didn't necessarily see their, take their last breath, but I was the one who maybe had to clean them after and it was so bizarre to think me doing that, because you'd never think that of me, like going, oh my God, how scared I was before. But yeah. And the sad part about nursing homes, and I hate saying it because like people have, their parents maybe in there, or they are, so I feel bad to say that, but I really hope that that doesn't happen, because I just working there, I personally picked PSW because I thought I could work with the elderly, and I loved talking to people who are older than me and listening to stories, and I've always respected it. And I hate people who disrespect older people and make them feel that they're none when they are so much better than you and went through so much more than you. But anyways, you don't really get that time, because you basically, depending on what shift, you got to get them up, clean, get dressed and pretty much force feed them to eat. It was just ridiculous. I did it for about 3 years, and it's like, and I probably had about 5 people who died on my clock. Not of me, of course, but like, it was just, it was different. But it was weird because I would put like a coat on me. I don't know about you saying cleaning up someone who passed away, but it's just kind of like you put this coat on you that it's like, okay, I just have to do this, get over what it is and just do it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you think too much about it, it's just too strong. And what's funny is I would go home and I actually did not feel sad for those people. If anything, I felt happy for them, because I knew that this is where they wanted to be more than where they were. Not that they were in a horrible environment, but as a person who's free to do whatever she wants or he wants and go where you want, to be confined in possibly a bed, the freedom of afterwards of you do not have to be within your body is just, a positive thing.
I've been on many recoveries like that with the fire department and things like that, where elderly have passed away in their sleep at night, things like that. And the worst ones that have to clean up is the ones that pass away naturally.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's saddening to see them at rest, but the changes that the bodies go through after they pass is messy, and it's not something you want to have to mess with. Trust me.
No, yeah. Well, I was lucky. I was lucky because where I worked, you didn't have to do like really some nursing homes makes you do everything. You take everything, clean them out, everything. We just had to make sure they were decent, and before the morgue would come and get them. So, yeah. But these people were a lot older, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure in their eyes, they were just like waiting to go, please, I don't want to be here anymore. But it was a shame that I didn't get to have more conversations with people, because that's really what I thought would happen, and that's not the way it worked.
Well, it's never too late.
It's
That's
never
true.
too late.
I can do volunteer if I really wanted to or something. It just kind of turned me the way it was. But you are right. I should, even if it's volunteer and go sing, they would love that, because I used to.
You don't even have to volunteer. Just walk into any nursing home and hand out some socks or slippers or?
You're right. I get that. It's just when you've worked in there and had bad experience of like I haven't really once I left, I pretty much didn't go back in. I just knew too much of what goes on that I don't know. I just like sometimes like where I live, there's literally a nursing home, so there's people in wheelchairs and stuff going by all the time. So I'll usually be like, hi, and whatever, and they'll see my dog. So I will talk to different people. But I don't usually go. I know that's probably bad. I probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of deaths in the fire department in the 10 years that I was a volunteer in the fire department, EMS, rescue, search and rescue, and Office of Emergency Services. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was very rewarding. I mean, you know, you had both the good and the bad, but when the good came through, it came through so much more than the bad did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, being on the EMT squad and things like that, I actually delivered my own son.
Oh, wow.
Youngest. So that was one of the, but they wouldn't give me my stork pin because they said, no, Swan, that was your kid. You don't get one for delivering your own kid.
And now
I'm
you
like,
gotta deliver somebody else's then.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, you'd get
Move
along
over,
great
doctor.
with Paula. She's 31 years on the force fire department, and you'd get along great with her.
Yeah, I specialized in like rescue squad, jaws of life, stuff like that. So that was my specialty. But
Jaws of life.
a lot of the search and rescue type stuff, the swift water rescue, diving, all that stuff.
So how about you, Brian? What's some of the stories that that were pretty interesting to you, scary, or just made you feel not at ease?
Well, basically, that apartment that I was in with my son, and then like, me and Jojo got together, and we lived in a place in Woodstock, and we thought nothing of it. Brand new apartment, whatever, and moved in. Got everything set up. We had my brother over for a couple weeks, and we were chilling out, and we went fishing the one day. Came home to us all hearing, "Mummy, you're home." And at the time, we had no kids. She was pregnant with Falcon at that time, and we had cupboard doors opening by themselves there. We've had the one night we came home, we had no garbage at all in the house, like, and it was filled with like flies.
Oh, bad sign. Bad
and the sign, like, we smelt rotting meat and all that other stuff, and like we had a playroom set up for when he was born, so that when he came home, he'd have toys in that. We always kept the one room closed and locked, and came home the one night and it was wide open, and the toys were like moving around on the floor, and that night we cleaned up more flies from the one other bedroom, and there were hundreds of them. Like, it took me and my brother from like 9 o'clock until like 2 a.m. to kill them all.
Holy Hannah.
And it was really rough. Like, the one night we were sleeping and we had clothes gathered to go to the laundromat, and Jojo woke me up at 3 a.m. and pointing at a bag saying, "What's that?" And it was a man in a black hoodie sitting on the bag staring at us.
Holy Hannah.
But yet you turn the lights on and he was gone, but you turn them off and he's still sitting there.
There would have been holes in my wall.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I wouldn't even turn on the light. I would just been like,
Like,
there you go.
The day that we moved out of there, it was the best day. I'll tell you that.
So it was a brand new apartment, you said?
Yep. We just moved in there.
Okay, so was like the place built like on a burial ground, or
It was down the street.
It was down the street from where a little girl, got abducted in that.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And like it was just a lot of the weird stuff was happening before all that too. Like the doors would open by themselves. The one night we came home and lights were turning off and on, and it was just, it got out of control in that place.
And at that time, did you do any kind of ghost hunting or anything, Brian?
We never did anything at that time.
Yeah.
I had in the past, but not during that period.
Yeah, like JoJo had in the past, but not during the period of that.
Right. Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, and so like lights would turn on off and doors would open and close, and
How long were you in there for?
not even a year.
We stayed there, I think, 4 months.
That's longer than I would be.
Yeah, the longest we stayed in that place was 4 months.
Wow.
And that was long enough for us to find a new place and move.
Wow. That's crazy.
But the place that I lived in before I met JoJo, with the old cop and that, like I knocked on the neighbor's door, and he had one of those CMT news cameras up on a fan, like motoring his apartment all the time. And I was like, how long have you been filming? And he's like, well, 3 years. And he had like boxes upon boxes of video from this camera, and he showed me one of the footages, and so I was like, well, whatever, like stuff just kept happening. So I set up a camera in our place, which was right next door to his. And basically that night my brother was over in that, and we set it up to motor the apartment and troll, and we heard like a police thing coming to the door, the walkie-talkie setup, and there was a huge pound in the hallway. And I opened the door and no one was there, but you could still hear the policeman's CB going on and off.
No.
So when I closed the door, there was another bang. So I quickly opened it again and there was nothing there, but you look on the left wall and it looked like someone took like an old butcher's knife and it embedded itself in the wall.
Oh, God almighty.
Like it wasn't the knife itself, but it was a picture of the knife.
Now that's some scary shit there, folks.
And like we left that night and I left the camera running. And then the following day I wake up and I look at the footage, and we had a bed skirt on my bed at the time. And I look through the footage and all that, and through the footage, you see this spirit come out from under the bed skirt, and it moved the bed skirt.
Yeah.
It came walking through the house and around into Cody's room, my oldest son's room. And that following night, after everything happened, from the footage, I was in the bathtub in that. And I got out because I heard banging from his room, and he wasn't there because I got him every other weekend. And I go into the room, I open the door, and his dresser drawers are opening and closing and slamming shut.
Yeah.
And like pictures and that would fly off the walls when I was there. The one night we got on camera, I stayed at my mom's, and we had a whole night of video footage. And I always made sure to turn my computer off. I came home and there was reggae music blaring from it. And yeah, like reggae. I didn't listen to reggae. And I was like, well, I'll turn this off. We should look at the footage. Well, I didn't have any flashlights in the house. All you could hear was like a bunch of Jamaican family, and it sounded like they were partying, they were laughing, And it looked like what was a flashlight shining at the camera in front of it on the floor. And it just kept like moving around on the floor.
Wow.
And like after basically 4 or 5 footages, I called constable that I was renting from, and he's like, well, I've never heard of anyone else having these problems. And at that time I didn't use anything. I wasn't ghost hunting, I wasn't anything. And he went into the house and he's like, you can film it if you want for like evidence and whatever. Basic. Right once he and his partner walked into that house, you could see on the camera all of his hair stand up on his arms.
Ooh.
Gosh almighty, that just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, and there was a lot of other times that had happened, but I don't want to. It's just really creepy to talk about.
Yeah, right. So did you ever kind of get, I mean, did you ever get kind of any history at all or find out what?
Well, the history on that apartment alone was it used to be an old rail office.
No, that was our place on Dundas, not Dufferin.
Oh no, the place on Dufferin that I was in, it was an old funeral home.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah, the upstairs was an old funeral home, and then like the downstairs, he added an addition to the back when they first built the place, and it used to be like the place where people would sit and see their dead ones before they had to do everything else.
Right. So did you ever go back to that and do any kind of investigation or anything on it?
I have not yet. I know the officer sold it once I moved out.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I'd like to actually. Like, I'd sit in that apartment for a few hours at night, go in there at 3 a.m. and do film and see what's going on.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah. But I guess shortly after I moved out, this woman moved in and she had 2 young girls. And they only lasted in there a month and they were out.
Oh, bless their hearts.
Yeah, from what she was telling me, and Marius, the cop I rented from, was that basically they had a lot of stuff going on in the house and she had to move out.
Well, yeah, hell yeah, I'd be moving out of there so fast you'd see my little fat hiney right down the highway.
Yeah. It was pretty bad at times.
Boomer's back. He says he's got a story he wants to share. If you guys want to bring him up.
Yeah. We'll do that in a sec. Love you too, buddy. Yeah, but like, and there was the one time when we lived there, you know, the old floor heaters that were stuck, like they'd hang on the wall.
The baseboard heaters?
Yeah, the baseboard heaters. That's what we had, but it was like a bigger one. And I had an
system.
Yep. So I had enough room when I first moved in. I put a futon in beside it because it would have like just enough room, and my TV on the other wall. And the night that Cody came, he was acting really weird. But he was there like a night prior to that. And it was like, I kept asking him what was wrong. He was all pale and looking funny. And he was like, oh, I'm okay, Dad, type thing. But I put him to bed and that. I heard noises in his room, so I opened his door. And he was putting all of his toys and clothes under the center of his bed.
What?
Yeah, he was just putting toys in that under his bed. And I was like, Cody, what are you doing? And I got no response from him. He just kind of looked at me and he wouldn't blink or nothing. He just looked at me. And I kind of figured, okay, like something's going on here. So I went to bed and I put it in his bedroom, the camera in that. And he'd be sleeping there and then all of a sudden just sit up in the bed.
Oh.
at night. I got it like 3 times. He'd just stand up and then stand in front of his like wardrobe and that, and just it was like an hour he just stood there.
Mm-mm-mm.
The following morning, he came out, and I asked how he was, and he just looked at me like he wasn't blinking. He just stared at me. It was like he was looking into my soul, and he started to walk, and I was like, "Where are you going?" And he just turned his head slowly, looked at me, and went for the wall. It's like something possessed him, and he tried to walk in between the futon and that heater into the wall.
Oh my gosh, bless his little heart.
But when he hit the wall, he ended up falling backwards and crying. And he asked how he got in the living room from his bedroom.
Wow. So did that happen again then after that, or?
No. It was basically that only time. But like it was just weird in that house. Like there was a lot of stuff that happened. Like I'd come home, my whole entire futon would be moved and flipped over. I'd have cups that were on the floor in different spots upside down.
Jeez, oh Pete.
It was just a lot of strange things. Like pictures would come like be off the wall. Sometimes you'd see a picture just come off a little bit and then turn so that the picture was against the wall.
I
don't know. Like if I could investigate that place, I'd do it. Either that or I'd try and get Buddy's video camera, see if he got footage or not. And because I lost all of my tapes, I don't know where they went.
Louisiana boy says, I just stopped by to show my support and respect, bro, always.
Hey, Cowboy Dipper.
Cowboy Dipper's in here. Did you send Boomer a link? Or I can. I think I can. Yeah, I can.
All right. Yeah, but it got crazy in that place. I like the day of moving in that, my brother wouldn't even go in the house.
I don't blame him.
Like when we were filming in that, I had like a footstool and a chair in front of his door. So I was like, okay, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And Cody's bedroom was where most of the activity was. So that night we go to my mom's and I got it filming. And on the film, I could just see the footstool slid across the floor. And so did the chair away from the door, and the door would open. But
wow.
like I never seen anything on camera come out.
Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that place was one of the most scariest places I ever lived.
It would be really cool now, though, if you could, knowing what you know now and having the equipment you all got.
Yeah.
Go back and do an investigation on it.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. Because
or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was a place in Woodstock we lived before we moved back here to Cambridge to this house. And it started happening like a few months before we moved out, where we would smell a strong odor of woman's perfume. And like it wasn't the modern day perfume, it was like older perfume.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd smell that and the front door would open by itself. And I'd do it like 3 times a day.
Wow. Huh.
It was odd.
I sent a link to Boomer.
Now I remember a time when, gosh, it's been about 20 years ago. I was living in a little house, and I was in bed. It was probably about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I remember my grandfather used to wear Vitalis. I don't know if y'all ever remember that.
Yeah.
But it was an old scent that years ago men used to wear. And I remember smelling that, but then somebody rubbing my head and then patting me on the head enough it woke me up.
Yeah.
With that scent. So, and it happened throughout the night. I couldn't figure it out until finally I heard somebody say, "Get up." And with this tapping on my forehead. So I got up and looked out the window, and there was a SWAT team outside of my window taking down. They were doing a bust on the house across the street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's been, oh gosh, over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was my grandfather.
Boomer Rock has entered the room.
Hey, Boomer.
Hello.
You know Uber.
Hey, Boomer.
Boomer.
Nice to meet you, Amy. Lovely to see you again, Uber Goober.
You too, honey.
Thank you to JoJo and Brian for allowing me up here. Thanks, Ghost, for trying to give me the link that didn't work for me.
No problem, man.
I had to click on JoJo's in order for it to work for some reason.
Sometimes you just gotta go with the women.
First thing I wanted to mention, I just had a deja vu. Funny you mentioned deja vus earlier. I had a deja vu just before. It was back when Louisiana Boy said something in here, and Dave made a comment. And the fact that I thought, wow, deja vu was in the deja vu as well. Just wanted to let y'all know that. Yeah, I wanted to, what Brian was saying. That was your son you was talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Why am I saying, sorry, Brian?
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, you I remember that story.
That happened to my son as well. When it was when I was trying to get back. You know, like they're still living in Indiana, but it was when I was in Indiana with them. The first actual house they lived in, I figured there was something crazy in that house anyway. But I didn't really like live there with them, so I didn't pick up on a lot. But I had spent a couple nights there, especially on the holidays, and I noticed that my son did that as well. And your story reminded me of that. He would just sit straight up in bed, like kind of turn on his butt, pivot on his butt and drop his legs down, kind of like a robot, like he was being controlled by something. Now I've sleptwalked, I've seen sleepwalkers. Okay,
yeah.
It's not the same thing. So I knew something was going on, but I didn't want to say it. That was just that. I wanted to get that out real quick because you reminded me of that, and I didn't figure out what it was about. There was too much crap going on in my life at the time to figure it all out. But the story I wanted to tell was my very first experience with crossing over in spirit.
Yeah.
Who's calling me?
Probably Green Day Wax.
Some other cat line.
Yeah. Hang on, just 1 second.
All right.
Actually, I have a question about that. With the kids, I'm echoing. Do you think the ones that have maybe more of imagination are the ones that can see, I guess, dead people than maybe the ones that aren't? Because I know my niece is super. She was super dramatic and really bubbly and everything. And her mom used to always say that she would see relatives that she would have never seen in her lifetime and just have conversations. And her mother would be like, "What, Star, who are you talking to?" And she's like, "Oh, this is great grandma or whoever it was." So I'm just curious if it could be the ones with a higher imagination, maybe, that are seeing visions.
In my experience, and I've seen several different instances of this, but like really highly intelligent, higher IQ children seem to be very emotional. Mm-hmm. A lot more emotional than regular children. And the same aspect as like children that go through traumatic events, whether it been in the womb or at birth or even after birth, where they was, in a car accident and their life was in peril, but not necessarily, where they was deceased and then came back or anything like that. But it seems like when you put that innocence in that type of situation, it broadens their senses. To a certain extent.
I get what you're saying, because you know what? When I was I don't know, when I was my mom was having me, she ended up having the cesarean because the cord was wrapped around my neck, and for like so many years I just had a thing, like it's like I don't want you to touch my neck. I didn't like anything on my neck, and I don't know, that could definitely be a reason.
Yeah,
like,
it could be too.
Traumatized me as birth and not even realize, because I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't really...
yeah. I mean, you were traumatized pre-birth.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah, that's why she had to have cesarean, or I would have literally died.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, this one's kind of funny, somewhat story is, because I'll have to tell this story on my channel one day, but that I was actually somewhat changed at birth. And so see, I'm like almost 40, so back then in the hospitals, like usually especially when you had a cesarean, the husbands weren't in there or anything, right? So she was pretty knocked out. And so after I was born, the doctor went to my uncle and said, "Congratulations, you have a son." Which this switched me, obviously. And they kind of knew, only because I was a chunkier baby, that they realized that, no, this doesn't seem like the right family member, because it was a little small boy. So they put me in the right spot, I guess. I would love to say, like, "Oh, Mom, I'm sure I'm with the wrong family sometimes," but no, too much like her. I look too much like her, so I can't do that. It's a shame. It would be such a good story, though. But yeah, it's kind of a funny, true story.
Yeah, I had one of those children. My oldest was highly intelligible growing up, but highly emotional at the same time.
Very sensitive. Yeah, I know what that means.
Really sensitive. Whether it was he had anger issues, or he would, if you looked at him just harshly enough, he would literally start crying if you looked at him mean. And he could not control those emotions.
Right.
That he was having or experiencing, where a normal child would be like, okay, I'm happy. Okay, I'm sad. Well, it's like, if he was sad, he was very sad. If he was happy, he was bouncing off the walls, extremely happy. And it was just like, there was no low end to anything. It was just off the charts on all levels. But
see, I think I have a thing for energy. Like, you know how some people say they see it. I don't see it, but like I feel it so much, like around people or whatever. If I get that negative vibe, somebody, I know it pretty quickly, or I react to the environment. If it's a crappy day, I am probably going to feel crappy. It's just that. I realize with a lot of people, but it's just people's energy and whatever, I just vibe off of. That's why that's why I stay in my house a lot more than maybe I should, but that's kind of what happens.
Paranormal
and I'm pretty sensitive.
Asks why you wear shades at night. I believe she's referring to Boomer.
I already answered that. Yeah, well, my story relates to involves my first experience with utilizing my gift and abilities to cross a earthbound spirit. Now, I've always had known that there was something different about me. Ever since I was about 5 years old, it's when I started noticing or perceiving, whatever you want to call it.
Go.
These
I don't care. Go.
Gifts or abilities, whatever you want to call them. For a long time, I called them a curse. But it wasn't until I was close to my 20s that I actually really used it for something specific. Up until that point, I tried to just discard it or whatever. I tried to ignore it. But when I was about 20, just before I entered the service, I was living with a cousin of mine. We lived in this small little bungalow in a place called Lansing, New York, out in a very rural area, where our nearest neighbor, our neighbor was our landlord, and he was still 3 lots down. And beyond that, our nearest neighbor was probably 3 miles away, off in this dirt road. And I worked nights at a printing company, working anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day. And I just got home. I worked a third and second shift. Just got home at night, about 10:30 or so at night.
Go take the dog
I
with
get
you.
home. My cousin's leaving to go to work. I'm out. He won't allow me to smoke inside the house. So I step outside on the stoop. I'm having a cigarette on the stoop. Happen to look down the driveway, and at the other side of the road, that intersects our driveway, I noticed this figure. And the more I tried to focus on it, the more I saw it was a young girl, high school age, all in these 50s garb, poodle skirt, fluffy sweater, the whole 9 yards. So my first thought is, oh, well, maybe the school, it's like November or something, because it was just 2 months before I joined the service. So I think it was in November. So I'm thinking, well, maybe costume party or something at school. So, and she was just like pacing back and forth, like she was waiting for something. I started to go down my driveway. It was a fairly long driveway. By the time I got there, I was going to ask her if she was okay. Did she need a ride home or something? Did she get stranded? Because I could have been inside. When I was inside, I didn't know what was happening. What's going on outside. So I figured somebody dropped her off or something, or she started walking. The school was about 2 miles down the road, 2 or 3 miles down the road. So I'm figuring she got stranded. I start to walk. As soon as I get halfway down the driveway, she just like disappears. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm shaking it off, thinking, well, maybe I'm just hallucinating, long hours at a printing press, smelling ink all day, blah, 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 blah. So I go inside, I finish my cigarette, I go inside, turn the TV off, and I lay back on the couch just to take a nap before I have to start my next shift. And I just lay down, close my eyes.
Like I'm watching Monster High. And
I'm like, I just kind of perk up my head a little bit. Like, I thought maybe I just felt like I was dozing off. Maybe I was starting to dream. And I look around for a minute, it's like, all right, forget it. And I go lay down again, and all of a sudden I heard, don't ignore me.
What was it?
Don't ignore me. You saw me, didn't you? I'm looking, and I was like, hello? And I hear again, it's me. And you saw me, didn't you? I was like, who are you? He goes, I'm the girl outside. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, like, I'm going crazy at this point. So what I do is I check my cigarette pack to make sure that my other cigarette was still there. I hadn't touched it yet. It's still there. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not crazy. I'm not stoned. I'm not imagining shit. I'm hearing this girl's voice. So I'm talking to her, and I'm like, and I'm thinking back to shows I used to watch. Okay, and I'm thinking back to when, before my life got so hectic, that I would hear these things and I was able to ignore them. I hadn't had that problem in a while. My life was so busy and everything. And so I'm thinking, it's like, all right, wait a minute. Am I talking to a spirit? And I says, are you dead? I think you're dead, right? And as soon as I mentioned something about being dead, she just like, everything got cold. Those old 70s type furniture that people would have, the built out of big freaking lumber, and they got the big cushions on, whatever. Well, we had that kind of furniture. So the coffee tables went to big ass heavy coffee tables. Well, that damn thing flew, or not flew, but pivoted about 10 inches away from the couch, and it got cold. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And well, to make a long story short, for about 45 minutes, about half hour or so, I'm communicating with this spirit. I'm talking. I was like, what do you need? And finally, I was able to make her understand, hey, look, yes, Dad, what you're waiting for is, not going to, I can't remember the exact conversation we had, but it was somewhere along those lines. And I remember watching these shows, like all these other mediums and psychics and everything, and they're talking about how they, they're describing how they would cross the spirit. So I just tried it, just for the hell of it, see if it worked. So I asked her, I says, hey, do you see a bright light around here anywhere? Very bright light. And she looks around and says, yeah, I see a bright light. Well, what is it? I'm like, well, that's where you got to go. That bright light, it's that tunnel. Look up the tunnel. See if you see somebody you recognize. And she says, yeah, I see my mama, and which I assume was grandma. She goes, yeah, I see her, but she's dead. I was like, yes, you're dead. Understand, you're dead. You're a spirit. You have to go. You have to go into that light. Go through that tunnel. That's, it's going to be your new home, pretty much. That's how I've always guided other spirits. So it's like, I talk to them like, look, you're on your way home to your new home. That's where you're going to live from now on. And that light's going to take you there. Don't be afraid of light. And, and I'm pretty much using that tactic with her by, telling her, look, you see her, she's going to hold out her hand, grab her hand and go with her. And I don't know how long I sat there talking to myself, because I think she had crossed the minute I told her to grab her grandmother's hand. And I sat there and I talked, and I started noticing the room warming up again. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess she's gone. She must have moved on. So I can only assume, because I never got any verification that it worked, but the fact that I couldn't hear her talking anymore, and the fact that the room, I assumed, hey, this spirit got crossed over.
Yeah.
So, and I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. I was no good at work the next day, because I couldn't sleep. I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. This is the first time I've ever actually reciprocated with a spirit. I've always heard them. I've always seen the images and visions that they were trying to project to me to tell me a story or whatever. But to actually talk to one, like earthbound, speaking to them like we're talking now, I've never done that up until that point. And then, it wasn't long after that, I joined the service. My life got busy again. I got married, had kids, blah, blah, blah. And then all that ended. And in 2003, I came back to New York, and my life kind of slowed down again. I tried working and stuff, couldn't work, blah, blah, blah. And it was pretty much just like my life came to a stall. And it picked up again. The activity picked up even more. I started hearing the voices more. I started seeing the images and visions more. And my empath was really kicking in more and more because I had nothing else to occupy my time or my mind. My life got so, mundane and like, it was like there was nothing to keep me busy. So I started noticing it more about 2003. And by the time, when I came back from New York, I was hopping back and forth from one place to the other. And finally I settled here. And this is the longest I've been in one place. And the activity has like intensified like 100 times since I've moved here in this apartment. I've been here almost 10 years now. The longest I've ever lived anywhere. And I've been by myself for 10 years in this apartment. And it seems like my abilities and gifts have just been magnified or intensified.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you too. Do you think that with your abilities, you attract them more?
I don't know if I attract them or if I just notice them more than I did before. I think I just notice them more. I've been picking up on a lot more spirit activity around me, almost everywhere I go, actually, because I'll feel feelings that I know aren't mine, but there's nobody like close around me, and I'll pick up these feelings, emotions, or whatever. Like, I want to just bust out and cry for no reason at all.
Right.
Okay. Walking down the street or in the middle of the aisle of the store where there's nobody near me. You know, there's spirit energy everywhere, and there's a lot of earthbound spirits. Like the whole body of their energy remains here on Earth. I mean, there's everywhere we go, we leave bits of our spirit energy throughout our lives, and some people that are really in tune to it can pick up on that. That doesn't necessarily mean like there's a spirit right there, you know, like full body, like, you know, there's a difference. Like there are earthbound spirits that their whole spirit energy resides here on Earth still, primarily either where their body rests or where their demise took place. Two main places that a earthbound spirit will reside.
Yeah.
If I go to those places, it's even more intense because I get the full effect. Like if I walk into a room where somebody committed suicide by hanging, and if I'm on that spot, that very spot, I will feel a tension around my neck, like the rope being tightened around my neck. I'll feel like I'm being strangled or hung, you know, or if somebody was shot, I could feel that, you know, I'll feel the heat and the thud of the projectile, you know, hitting me and the burning of it. And I could smell the gunpowder, smell the metallic taste of the blood, you know, and that's where they're strongest at is like, if they didn't cross over immediately, they're usually, especially in incidences like that, like sudden deaths, suicides, their spirits will remain here more likely than cross over most of the time. And those are the ones that need help from, you know, people like us, the mediums and psychics or clairvoyants, whatever you want to call it. They need that they need to understand, hey, look, you can move on. You can leave here. You don't have to be afraid to leave here.
I don't mean to cut you off, Boomer.
Anybody.
I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to acknowledge Cowboy Dipper, formerly Redneck Dipper. Congratulations on the birth of the new baby. And I hope he's big, healthy. He says weighed 7 pounds, 2 ounces, 18 inches long.
Wow.
I don't mean to interrupt either, guys, but I'm gonna have to go and put my feet up and watch this from my chair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It took a lot more time than I expected.
No. I need to put my feet up. It's that time of night. My feet start getting pretty swollen. So thank you so much, guys. And I'm gonna watch from my living room.
Thank you, Uber Goober, for joining the panel.
Thank you all very, very much.
On you on Tuesday, but we are going to do it next week on Tuesday too. If you want to come on
okay. I'm gonna try getting on.
Tuesday.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys.
And I know
thank you, Uber Goober lady.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be fun. Okay. See y'all later.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, I'll still be here in the chat, but I apologize. I didn't expect to take that much time with it, but that was my story. My first time experience with first time I ever saw a real full body apparition as well. First and only. So just wanted to share that story with y'all.
That was cool. It was cool.
I'm gonna bounce off the panel here, and I'll check out live. I gotta call this person back.
Okay.
All right, Dipper.
All
Or
right, guys.
Boomer. I'm talking to
around 11, 11:30. Well, 11:30, 12 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll check with you guys later. I appreciate you letting me be up here.
No problem, Boomer. Anytime.
Yeah. All right. Much love to y'all. Keep it real.
You keep it real too, man. Boomer's keeping it real.
Boomer's keeping it real.
We'll see you later, Bridget.
Is there anybody else out in the chat that wants to share one of their stories? We got some spots open.
We got a couple spots open now.
Amy has went from one of the guests to one of the guest hosts for the evening now.
Yep.
Well, let me talk about me. Actually, it's so nice to actually be talking because, well, I like to write, but I hate actually writing or texting. I'm kind of like old school that way. Like I feel like I'm 90. So I actually like to talk. So it's kind of nice to be able to kind of say whatever and not think about what you're typing and then send. And now I just have to think about what I say and not like put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh well, try to be careful. I love conversations and debating, but you have to be very careful what you debate about.
Yeah. No problem, Bridget. Thank you for coming in.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't have I wouldn't say I have tons of experience, but I did have a few, and I'm just glad that the idea of it doesn't freak me out anymore. No, I don't want to be like every minute seeing something, but I'm just like I said, after my friend passed away and her girls, it just changed everything. That it just made it feel just a little more comfortable about like. I find it hard for like, I mean, you can believe what you want to believe, but to not believe that there's something past when you die is just super depressing to me.
Yeah.
So I can't even go there. So
Trust me, I made my son think I was completely insane the other day. I'm sitting out at my bar, and I swear, broad daylight, middle of the day, I seen a guy, black t-shirt, blue jeans, ball cap, walk between the two houses like he was going up onto our porch. I said, Hunter, run up there and see who's on the front porch. See who's here. He goes up there, wasn't nobody around, nowhere. No vehicles out in the driveway, nobody, nowhere, nothing. Nobody around the house, nobody in the house. I seen it. It was a person, solid as can be, just like I'm standing here in front of you now.
Oh, yeah.
Black shirt, blue jeans, ball cap. Walked right.
My husband doesn't believe it at all. Thinks I'm crazy. But he used to have like my house is somewhat crooked, so I mean you could take it either way. But we used to have this one chair, and it rotated, but it always rotated to the window, which was a little weird. Now it could, if you want to go logically, it could be that the floors. It's like I said, it's a super old house. So the floors are crooked. You put a marble, it's not going to stay there. It's going to go a certain way, right? But it was just so bizarre that even though he doesn't believe in it, he'd always say, "Oh, birth is here."
Wow.
You don't believe, but every time the chair would do that, he's like, "Oh, birth is here."
I had a couple.
But it wouldn't always do it.
Who bought this house on Wheeling Island, and the house had sat abandoned for 8 years. It was an old house. Originally, it sat where the highway goes through Wheeling, West Virginia, and it had been moved 500 feet down the embankment towards the Wheeling Suspension Bridge, which is the oldest freestanding wooden suspension bridge in the United States currently. Mm-hmm. And the house is really old too. It was originally what they called the gatekeeper's house for the ferry before there was ever any bridges there.
Yeah.
So that the house that the gatekeeper lived in that ran the ferry to go back and forth across the river. And back then, in those days, Civil War era, it was just a barge with a rope, and they pull it across the river one way, and then you pull it across the river with the other,
Right. Like a logs and whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the old woman that owned the house, when the highway came through, she would not let them tear the house down. Literally, she had them move the house 500 feet down the embankment, and while she sat in the kitchen drinking tea. And
Wow.
when I say it's an old house, it had slave quarters and things like that in the house, servants' quarters and everything. Because Wheeling, West Virginia, it was known for a marketplace where they took slaves to auction. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, the auction site is still there. The actual, they had like, I don't know, 12 by 12 timbers that came up out of the ground that they would shackle the slaves to when they was auctioning them off and things like that. It's all still there. It's all a historical monument and everything in Center Market in Wheeling.
Yeah.
So this couple buys this house, and that's kind of the backstory to it. The lady had died. Her husband had died in the house, things like that. I had done some investigation there. I've got a clear EVP of a gravelly old woman's voice saying, "Who's in my house?" And I mean, it will send chills down your spine when you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And but the couple that bought the place, okay, she had experienced paranormal activity in the household, so she had us come in and do the investigation and things. He didn't believe in that sort of thing. Now, the old woman that owned the house originally, like, the place was so ornate. There was like, you go through the front door, and to the right there's a library, and to the left there's I guess you'd call it a game room where like a billiards table would be, and it had a built-in bar, and it was all fancy and marble, and real hand-carved roses on pillars in the corners of the room and things. And anytime that a piece of that hand-carved wood would break off or anything, the old woman would take it. She had a tin in the kitchen cabinet, and she saved every single piece. When they bought that place and started restoring it, every piece was there. Okay, so they was able to restore this place really, really nice. So now, he was the type of person that didn't believe in any of that, ghosts and devil and spirits and angels, and he didn't believe in none of it. Not a thing. She did. But something changed his mind.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me a story of something that happened to him. He was in the I guess it'd be like the dining room / kitchen, because the fireplace in this place was like one of those old fireplaces that you would have cooked out of, right? Huge, big fireplace. And, but at the same time, the room that it was in would have been considered the dining room, because then there was the kitchen quarters for the servants who would have brought the food out into that room or whatnot. But it was an older house, and it was set up with the fireplace like that, where it could be cooked in too. So he's in there, and he has all the drywall stacked against the wall, leaning against the wall, and he's working up on a chandelier sconce in the living room, or in the middle of the room, and he's on a ladder. And he comes down off the ladder, and somehow that leaning drywall that's been there for days, leaning against the wall, leaned the other way and knocked the ladder over just after he got off of it. That was just one of the things that he told me about. And I'm like, well, drywall, 12-foot sheets of drywall, probably 10 or so of them leaning against the wall, don't just lean the other way for no reason. You know what I mean? That's a little hard to do. Even for an actual human to move that, it would be hard to do.
Yeah, it would.
That's a lot of weight in drywall.
Yeah.
But there was a few other instances in the house that kind of concerned me with her. Okay. Now, we went in there before they started the restoration to do the investigation in the house. And there was a lot of things, like a perfectly round mirror in the old woman's bedroom and things like that. And, a lot of ornate, like, what do they call it? Stained glass. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had heard stories about the old woman and the things she would say that was, kind of like her mannerisms, like, y'all come back now, you hear, or, you get the kind of terms that she would have used back in the day.
Yeah.
And a few months later, the woman that owned the house had us. She runs the Wheeling Homeless Coalition in Wheeling, West Virginia, and she had us come to the offices because they had some strange activity in the office areas. So we went up there, and literally when I went into her office, and she had been using those same terms like the old woman would have used a lot, and I noticed it on the investigation of the house. Now, when I went to the offices and I seen her actual office, one of the first things I seen was a perfectly round mirror sitting in her office. It wasn't the same mirror from the house. The one at the house was still at the house, but there was like she had blown up a picture of the stained glass window from her house and used it on the pamphlets for the Wheeling Homeless Coalition. And there was just a lot of different instances, like in her office on the bookshelf, she would have like an old glass mason jar filled with marbles that stuff that she had found in the house, and she had decorated her office with things that she had found from this house. And
wow.
The strange part is the daughter of the woman that originally owned the house that had died there, okay, had been in contact with her about the house itself. And, she had contacted the daughter to see if the daughter wanted to come and claim any of the old possessions that were still the woman's, that was still in the house. And she said, no, if you find any letters or anything or any pictures, let me know. I'd like to have those. So there's actually, when you go in the front door, there's a set of steps that goes up to a landing. And in the landing, there's a big stained glass window with a nice wide seat, and then another set of stairs that goes to the upstairs. And she was in that landing area doing some repairs and, restoration work. And she had found a letter from the husband to the wife written on their anniversary. Okay. So she decides that she's going to take this letter and she's going to get a hold of the woman's daughter and give it to her. Well, it come to find out that the day that she contacted the daughter and found out where she was, which she was in this area, it was her wedding day. And she was giving the letter from her father to her mother on their anniversary to the woman on her wedding day.
Wow.
How strange was that?
That was strange.
So to say that Lisa had a connection with the woman who originally owned the house.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a connection or if there's some sort of like spiritual attachment there, but it literally it was very coincidental, I should say.
Yeah.
But very strange at the same time. And that's one of the stories from around this area that it's one of those things. It's ongoing because they still have the house. They're still restoring it. They still have activity in the house. Unfortunately, the couple that bought the house has split up, and it's just her working on the place now. But
oh wow.
But yeah,
that is odd though. Like,
yeah, the fact that she found that letter and contacted the woman's daughter and gave the letter to the daughter on her wedding day, and the letter was from her father to her mother on their anniversary, was just kind of, I don't know. It's, I don't know what the letter said, but I imagine it was something along the lines of, it's our anniversary. I love you, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. It's just strange.
Yeah, it's an ongoing story, and I hear more about what's going on with the house all the time, and I want to get back in there and do another investigation in that house.
Yeah.
I just got to get a hold of Lisa and see when I can get in there. But definitely want to get back in there.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
It is creepy.
I don't know. I guess it's slowly starting to like less creep me out things than like when I was younger. It's weird. Have you heard the Long Island Medium?
Yep.
That show. Now, whether it's true or not, you watch some things where it's saying she's fake and she's I forget what they call it when you read people kind of like to try and get them. And I mean, it could be true and it's TV, so you never know, but it gives me a good feeling to think that, you know, maybe she's not necessarily real or she is, but the idea that people can do that is very comforting to me.
Yeah.
That doesn't freak me out at all.
There's several different types of reading people. You can read their emotions. You can read their body language. You can even read their aura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone I know says, I don't know how true it was, that there was one person who said, like, you have this color around you and what that means. I've had somebody do that. I've never actually paid or went to a psychic or a medium or anything like that. To be honest, I'd never want to go to a psychic anyway. I don't want to know what my future is. I'll let it happen when it happens. But mediums are pretty interesting for loved ones and everything.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they are.
I'm not.
But I've never went to one.
Nor do I claim to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I do kind of read people. I read that, you know, when people don't talk a lot or they're really quiet, I tend to shy away and not trust them as much as people that are more open and outspoken.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not always, I'm not saying your vibe isn't right or not, but that's not always true, because you know what? Some of the people doing bad things are the people who are the ones that you'd least expect, because they're so sociable, you know, especially when I'm a lot talking about kids.
Well, and I mean, not so much that, but like, okay, Red Kryptonite, if you know who Red Kryptonite is. First time he came up on panel, he was kind of shy, real quiet. Okay, but I've gotten to know him and he's opened up. It's the people that don't open up at all and just always stay quiet. They don't try to get to know people. They don't want to be known.
Yeah, I guess it depends, because some people are just introverts and they're fine, and then there are people who, okay, there's a little strange vibe coming from that person.
Right.
I know one person, I don't know if anything really come to it. I was actually for a little bit of afraid, because he did film, and I like doing like writing shorts and stuff, film. So I worked with this guy and did this 48-hour challenge of a movie. And he is definitely a little weird. He lives with his mom. He's probably, I don't know, late 30s or so. And that was just an experience in itself that was kind of funny. But yeah, I didn't mind him, but I did get creepy vibes from him a bit. But my husband just couldn't stand him. Like, he just did not like him. And he never said I couldn't work with him again, but he really, you could tell he was not thrilled about doing it, because he won't tell me what to do, like, you cannot do this or you can't, but he'll also give me that vibe like I don't like this. So but I was, honestly though, I was afraid for a little bit that if I ignored him to not talk to him, I wasn't sure what would happen. Turns out it was fine. He kind of contacted me months later to see if I wanted to do another project with him, but he was like, I think it's okay. Like, I think he was just a strange kind of person, very into his craft. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, sometimes the strangest people are the ones that
Boomer wants to know if anyone knows a Martin Skyzer. He's hearing a name, Martin Skyzer. He thinks this is how it's spelled. Says he's hearing a name. Might be somebody in the chat. Might be somebody on the panel. I don't know.
No, I don't know anything.
Martin Skyzer.
I know a Martin, but not a Skyzer.
Hey, Farm Boy.
Farm Boy 45.
I have no idea. He could be he could be a spirit or something that's coming through.
Right.
Just weird.
That would be really creepy. I'd have to admit that.
Well, I mean, Boomer is an empath, so he has things like this happen to him.
Yeah.
All the time. In fact, he has a hard time shutting it out sometimes that it'll come through.
Right.
So,
welcome back, Rebecca C, aka the Fan Bam.
Rebecca, she was on the panel here not too long ago. Had some stories for us.
Oh yeah, she had.
She was one of our first guests. Her and Aniki, I believe.
Yep, her and Aniki were the very first ones we had on panel.
Yep.
Skeezer.
You watch Aniki's video.
Skeezer, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was anything paranormal, but she definitely caught the guy on camera. I seen him walking off into the woods with the light.
Yeah.
It was very discerning that, and they're standing there, and you hear the rocks whizzing past them and hitting the grass, and they're like, "What was that?" And then when they realized what it was, they took off.
Martin Skeezer. So Boomer. That would be Jodel's half brother. JoJo's half brother. Martin Skeezer.
Oh.
He died of a drug overdose.
He died of a drug overdose. He was a biker.
So is he a medium then?
Yeah, he's a clairvoyant. No,
yeah,
empath.
He's an empath. Yeah.
Does can he? I don't. Forgive me for not saying the right thing, but trigger's not the right word. But can he get a specific person, or is it just kind of happen that that's the person that's there?
I think in this particular case, it just happens to be the person that's there, or maybe they know that Boomer was on the panel with,
I don't know if he could ever be when to contact my friend. That would be amazing. There's so many questions I have.
I would say go to Boomer Being Real and send him a message, or find him on Twitter or Facebook and send him a message, and maybe he could set something that up there privately for you. I don't know. You have to talk to him.
Yeah, there's I don't want to go too much into detail, but with that whole my friend and stuff, there's something really suspicious about it that's bothered the family, but it's too late to. It's been so many years. It's been how many years?
I mean, I don't know. 18... I don't know if he does readings for people.
No, that's okay. It's just it's been over.
I just don't want to commit him to something or anything.
No. Of course not. Of course not. That if something happens, something happens. If it's not, it's not. I mean, obviously, if there was something that he did, I know her family would definitely be happy with that, because there's just something that's I don't want to say, but there's just something that kind of strange that happened that I wish would have been figured out then or thought of, that they never kind of the police didn't seem to check it out, let's just say, which I think they should have. But what was weird about that story too is I'm from Canada, so I had I worked at this place called Tim Hortons, if you've ever heard of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
We have one on every corner here in Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
Rebecca says, with all that I've seen, I have yet to see an orb. I've always wanted to see an orb. Well, Rebecca, I'm a ghost.
If I knew how to send you the picture, I would totally send you the ones of the wedding of them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's all they were in front of the fountain, and it was only the pictures with the family.
There, see, I turned into an orb.
Did it. I just don't know how to. I wish there was an attach button, because I would show you it in a second, but I just but I forget what I was gonna say.
Quiet, please.
Oh well, that happens all the time.
Oh yeah.
My children have sucked my brain out.
Oh.
Ghost Mafia. No, you didn't.
come Monday, we get the other two here too, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, I have teenagers pretty much.
Yeah, well, Falcon, he just turned 6.
Yeah.
And then we've got 8 and 9.
8, 9, and 6.
8, 9, and 6, yeah.
All
And then
boys?
your oldest is 11.
The oldest is 11, but we've got 3 boys and 1 girl.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, I have my daughter's 13.
Daddy, that guy right there.
And then I have an 11-year-old son. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's so crazy how different each one of them are as kids, as you know, having 3 or 4 kids, you know, each one's different, but it's amazing the boy girl thing.
Yeah.
I just keep on getting in trouble for my daughter going, "You're not fair." I was like, "Well, you keep on talking and talking and you don't shut up." So I can't help but yell. Your brother, how are you supposed to yell at a kid that doesn't say anything back to you?
Exactly, right?
Just to do it for her sake.
Yep.
Oh God, it's a nightmare. But you know what? I was her, so I guess I'm just getting back what I put out there.
Oh yeah. We all do. We all see how we were raised and all that when we raise our own.
I know. You know what? I'm glad in my marriage I'm different, but the kids, yeah, it helped. I remember going like how my mom was. Not that she's a bad mom, and like there's 14 years difference between me and my sister. So you know, I was born, you know, raised in the 80s and 90s, right? So that's a different time. So you know, I got the spoon and some certain things against me, but I was a pretty melty kid though. And my sister is like completely. It's like I don't know if it's an aging. I don't know if it's when you have kids when you're younger to older. If it makes a difference. Actually, it does. I've seen it with my mom and my sister. Like when you're young, I think you're just trying to get everything together. You're figuring your house, home, work, job. That you're very stressed. So I think you're a little bit more on your kids, that maybe a little more harsh when you're a kid. I think when you start having them around 30, it's like you're settled a little more and things are just like, okay, all right, sure, okay, you can do that. So it's like 2 different ways. It's really weird. Not that this has anything to do with that conversation, but it's just interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Kids are interesting.
Oh yeah, they are.
And no, Becky, it wasn't a big cheese ball. It's actually some kind of glass orb decoration. I got them in a set of 3. I found them in one of the dumpster dives we did. There's like a red one, a green one, and a silver one, all different sizes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you do that?
Yeah, I do the dumpster diving.
I was watching a stream on that one. I just got a kick out of it. Where they dumpster dive.
The stuff that I've found is unbelievable. I got a $400 smoker out there. I got dumpster diving.
I know. It part of me goes, oh, in a way I'd want to do it. Like, not the food one, though. That kind of grosses me out.
Yeah. But like to find the stereos, to find like TVs, to find, you know,
okay, so I haven't found any stereos. Well, I can't say I haven't found stereo. I found like little small radios, things like that, but never any big boom boxes or anything. Never found any TVs. Yeah. I found tons of vacuums and stuff.
Well, you know what you can do is
air conditioners.
Yeah, of course.
Humidifiers, brand new, still in the box.
And if you're a fixer-upper, like you could fix something up, the money. That's money.
Oh yeah.
But like, you know, it's another good idea. I don't do it. I'm just throwing these information out here. Is like, I know this sounds bad, but if you go around where your yard sales are on like, you know, a Saturday, a Sunday, almost guaranteed Sunday night they're throwing out the stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. The stuff that didn't sell, they'll throw out.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the first dumpster dives that we ever did. I took my wife up to the shopping mall where all these stores was, and we had hit it before. And the one place was a Bath and Body Works. I said, we never get anything from Bath and Body Works. They hardly ever throw anything away. I said, I'm going to check it tonight. We went over there.
It's so weird that you're saying that. Because I was just thinking
over
like
$10,000 worth of product still in the cases, unopened, that they threw in the dumpster.
Wow.
Wow.
Bath and Body Works store.
Money, money, money.
And it was like, it was all the summer scents just before they threw out like all their summer stock to get ready for the Christmas stock stuff. So there was everything, like
That was probably
literally
one of the best dumpster dives.
cases and cases. I think there was like 17 or 18 cases of product. And you look at those, I mean, each one had like 24 bottles of like lotion or whatever in it. And each one of those bottles was at least $12.
That was the most, like, probably the best smelling dumpster dive you've ever done.
I guarantee.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's weird you said that because I was just thinking before. I'm like the soap places. I couldn't think of the names, but I'm like thinking of like going like, oh yeah, to go to those places, and then you mentioned it. Weird. That's what I mean.
Yeah. See, that's the Cosmos is telling you something. You
Hey, MCG Films, long time no see.
got to try some of this stuff. We even dumpster dive the what do they call it, Harbor Freight. I've gotten so many tools from Harbor Freight. We got a motorcycle hauler from Harbor Freight, the one that sleeves into the Reese hitch.
Yeah,
It was all there. Everything was there. Was nothing wrong with it. It had to have been a return, or they was just getting rid of the display model that they had to make room for something else. But the gaming chair that I'm sitting in, Staples dumpster.
Wow.
Gaming chair that's in my son's room that he's sitting in.
If I could
Staples
convince
dumpster.
my husband, it would be very tempting.
It is tempting. Like, I wouldn't mind doing like a few dumpster dives, like at a Walmart or Canadian
Yeah, like
Tire.
nothing with. I don't even know if I'd do Walmart because it's too much food mixed in.
Well,
but anything that has
Walmart has
doesn't have
crushers, so
food.
you probably ain't gonna find anything at a Walmart. You won't find anything at like Walmart or Target because they have the crushers.
Canadian Tire.
What you're gonna want to look for is like Kirkland's.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the home decor stuff, and they throw a lot of it away. Kirkland's, Bed Bath and Beyond. I get a lot of stuff from Bed Bath and Beyond. Like Ollie's or Save-A-Lots, places like that. What's going on, Boomer? Is he still coming through?
Yeah. I gotta get this resolved, or it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm sorry about that earlier. I had a friend who was dealing with something. I want to make sure they were okay.
It's all right.
But they're okay anyway. What I'm getting. Jojo, you can still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, what I got was two different things. It's not anyone's fault, was the first thing they started saying. And then they started chiming in over and over again repetitively about cherry pie or something. That's about all I was getting. I'm still hearing cherry pie for some reason. They keep telling me cherry pie. So I don't know if that's of any relevance. But I heard the name, and then, like, I mentioned it, and then I got I had this other situation to take care of. And, like, I'm here trying to take care of this problem, and I'm still getting this other thing coming at me, brother. You said your father?
That's my father's son, yeah.
Your father's son?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's Martin Skis?
Yep.
Or Skeezer?
It's Skis.
Skis. Okay.
They called him Skeezer.
They called him Skis. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was getting. And you said motorcycle accident, right?
He died of a drug overdose. He was a biker.
A drug overdose. Okay, for some reason they're showing me a motorcycle, and I don't know why.
He's a biker.
Oh, okay. He's a biker. All right. Was he part of a club?
Yep.
Biker club?
Yep.
Did they have a devil as either their main patch or a small patch or an affiliation with?
Hell's Angels.
Oh, wow.
Okay, because all I was seeing was a patch, a small patch, not the big, not the big
Upper
patch,
rocker, lower rocker.
but yeah, it wasn't that. It was just a small patch, like you would put on your arm or chest, or whatever, like an affiliate type patch or something. But and it's just a generic picture of a devil, devil's face, just a generic picture of a devil.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, what's the deal with that cherry pie that they keep going?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Cherry pie. Was it a nickname for somebody or?
My older brother John would know more than me.
Okay.
Martin died before I met him.
Oh, okay. So this would be your half brother.
Yep.
Okay. Because I'm seeing the half sign. Like I'm seeing 1/2, the half sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nobody's fault is probably how I am right now.
It's not anyone's fault. Yeah, that was the first thing they said about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And now it's just about the cherry pie. There's got to be a significance to the cherry pie because
Their mother is dying right now.
Okay,
and that was one of her favorite things.
Does she have a tumor on her brainstem?
Not that I'm aware of.
Somebody's tapping like they're doing this, tapping like the back of the head. They said tumor, and then now somebody there. All right, the image I'm getting is a fairly tall gentleman, kind of thin, kind of reddish brown hair, short, but it could be a ponytail up inside a hat. But it looks kind of weird. But they're patting the back of their neck. I don't know what that means.
To me, I don't
Who
know.
had the pan head?
What?
Somebody have a 64 pan head?
Yeah, he did. And my dad.
64?
What?
A 64?
Yeah.
Okay. 64 and then pan head is what they said.
Yeah, my dad had one, and then when Martin, I would say 6 months before he died, he got one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll talk about this later personally. In a personal. I just got some more information that I don't think you want.
It's fine.
Well, it has to do with what you were talking to us about privately.
Oh, okay.
So I'll get with you on that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it is okay. It is okay. It is okay. That's what they're saying. It is okay. Don't talk.
Did you say a gentleman with a ponytail?
It's okay that you don't want to talk about it. It's okay that you don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
I think that's what they're saying.
Hold on. You said a gentleman with a ponytail tucked under his hat?
You have a ponytail that may be tucked under you got a leather skull cap, or not skull cap, but like a leather. All I see is the back, and it's leather. It looks like his hair is short, but it could also be like a ponytail tucked up for some reason.
A beret?
Not beret, but kind of like a golf cap type thing. Like it's leather, but kind of like a golf cap. Like it's beat up, sun bleached. Like it was like if it was new, it would be a black leather cap. But it looks sun bleached almost to the point where it's.
Is there a beak on it, or is it more like a leather bandana?
It looks more like I can only see the back, but it looks like there's more body to it. Like it would be a cap as opposed to like a do-rag type thing. But it's definitely leather.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of is my dad's cousin.
Okay, what's the Irish flag again? Is the Irish flag red, white, green? I can't make out the emblem in the middle.
The Irish flag?
No, that's the Spanish flag, right? Or I don't know. Somebody is waving a flag. It's red, white, and green. Which one is that again? I can't remember.
Is that Italy?
That's in Italy, yeah.
That's
I don't.
Italy, right?
Maybe.
Huh?
Hang on. How are the colors laid out?
Yeah, it depends on the colors.
It's red at the top.
Yeah, but horizontal?
Yes, horizontal. Red at the top, white in the middle, green on the bottom. There's some kind of emblem in the middle, but it's blurred out.
Oh, that's the Hungarian flag.
It's
Hungarian.
yeah, they're not showing the emblem. But for some reason I'm seeing like a bear on upright for some reason. I don't know what the bear is all about.
Bear.
Yeah, it's a picture of a bear. A grizzly bear on its hind legs.
Like on the flag?
No, separate from that.
Oh. I was gonna say maybe it's like a state or province thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, orange, white, and green is Irish.
Yeah.
Orange, white, and green is Irish.
The red, white, and green is Hungarian.
Red, white, and green is
Hungarian.
It definitely looks red, white, and green. It definitely looks red, white, and green. With a blurred out emblem in the center of the white stripe, horizontal stripe. And there's cherry pie again. I don't think we're gonna resolve the cherry pie, dude.
You know what that might be?
He wants cherry pie.
No.
It doesn't feel like it's something he's asking for.
He's wanting you to take that cherry pie to his mother before she dies.
I don't know their mother personally. I only know to talk over the phone.
Yeah.
It's a different mom than mine.
If you were to take it, it might have had some significance to him between her and him.
I don't know if I should have said that.
Yeah. What?
If you were to take her the cherry pie, maybe the cherry pie would have some significance to her from him.
Yeah, I know, but what did Boomer say?
Well, what I'm hearing is mom's coming. I don't know if that's a question or a statement. The first thing was mom's coming soon. Mom's coming. Like I can't figure out if it's a question because he can hear us discussing it. Like he's not aware of what's going on, but he just got information that he didn't have. And he's asking about it, inquiring about it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm hearing. Mom's coming. It almost sounds like a question, like he's trying to clarify that.
I know what he's talking about, the hat. That hat he's talking about. My older brother, John, so the older one, has hats like that.
Okay.
And he used to have hair before he shaved it.
Okay. Did he, when he had hair, was he sporting a ponytail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be the message then. That could be the message. Like they're trying to like they're going from like all right, hair to no hair, hair to no hair. Like he may be referring to him. The fact that he remembers him with hair, but I guess he's been paying attention and realizes, hey, bro's not sporting the hairdo no more.
Yeah.
Like it. Their mom just moved in with my older brother.
Okay.
He's taking care of her.
Okay, that's your full blood brother, right?
No, he's a half brother too.
Okay.
Same dad. They share the mom. What?
Half brother, yeah.
He's my half brother, and he's full brothers with Martin.
Okay. Johnny B. Who's Johnny B?
That's my brother.
Johnny
B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad. Okay. Johnny B.
That's what they call him, Johnny B.
Okay. So much love, so much love. And I'm sorry, and he's gone. Yeah. Yeah, I lost the connection. I'm sorry was the last thing he said. He said so much love, so much love. I'm sorry, and I lost the connection.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes when he came here. Came here once.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me rephrase that. Since he's been dead, he's came here once.
Okay. All right. I don't feel him anymore, but for some reason, somebody is showing me an image. It's a set of 3 cupboards, and they got an arrow pointing at the center cupboard.
Set of 3 cupboards?
There's a set of, like, there's 3 cupboards.
Okay.
And in the center cupboard, they got like an arrow point. You know, like you would see on a cartoon, that arrow that flashes and moves, like to point something out.
Yeah.
It's just that's it.
Now.
That's all I see.
Now.
Coverage with some covered. I don't feel the connection, but I am seeing this.
Are they white?
They're wood grain, polished wood grain.
Hey, Jeremy.
Polished natural wood. Like they have veneer in them or shellac. They're shiny, but natural wood.
It's not here.
Okay, it's just 3 cupboards, and they're pointing at the center cupboard. Now, it could be just a generic, because they usually do that. They'll pick like it could be a wall full of cupboards, and they're just picking out the center 3 to direct my attention to the very center cupboard. They could just be generically saying, "Hey, cupboards, somebody's cupboards in the middle of cupboard," and try to draw their attention to it.
Okay.
Usually when I have these images, they are pretty generic. They don't get too specific. Matter of fact, I only recall 2 or 3 times where a spirit described to me exactly an image they were trying to draw my attention. Like I saw the color of the top of the counters. I saw the color of the drawers. The drawers were white, and they showed me the exact size of the drawer and showed me where this item was that somebody was looking for in a drawer. That was the only time they got that specific. In general, 99% of the time, it's generic, just like, hey, look in the cupboards, it's the center cupboard.
Yeah.
That's the primary message. Here's the cupboards, look in the center one. So they're using 3 so that there is a center. If they wanted to say, hey, look in the right side cupboard, they could have used 2 and just pointed the arrow to the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Or left side if they wanted the left cupboard. But the only thing they're being specific on is, hey, because there's 3, there's 1 in the center, that they're saying in the center cupboard. So it could be a set of 6, 7, 5, I don't know, but in the center cupboard.
Center cupboard
is all I see. So
open up the center cupboard.
Something about a center cupboard.
Which one?
So there's the first one.
I'm not feeling exactly what.
Open the second one.
I'm not feeling who it's coming from, and they're not divulging who they are. So I don't know if it's an afterthought for Martin to leave with me, or if it's something new. If I'm picking up on somebody new, somebody in the chat. I can't see the chat, by the way. I don't have it open because I didn't want to corrupt anything with JoJo. Because if I see a name and somebody recognizes it, it could corrupt the message that they're trying to get specifically for JoJo. I've had that happen a million times. I've had other information would corrupt the information meant for the person. But yeah, I'll get with you later, though.
Okay.
But
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Hey, Boomer, is it something that like kind of just pops in your head, like someone will, or can you kind of focus in on somebody?
Well, I've never been able to call forth anyone specific.
Mm-hmm.
It just usually happens to me sporadically. Usually it's when someone happens to, like if a spirit happens to realize, hey, this guy's talking to this person that you know. So they'll shoot me their name, say, hey, and I'll ask if anybody knows this before I start going into it. And if somebody catches on to a name, then we go like, okay, they start feeding me more information.
Jeremy Fryer says, my cupboards are shiny and I have ghost activity in them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that just corrupted my
That did not help you.
But I mean, no, that's good to know. I mean, it could very well, even though I'm not seeing the chat, it could very well be coming from somebody in the chat as well, or somebody else on the panel. But yeah. I don't know who Dippy D is, but somebody's calling me Dippy D. Dippy D. They could be talking about me. I don't know. I'm a bit Dippy. My last name starts with a D. But all right, I gotta re-energize.
That's all right. I think we're going to start wrapping it up. We got about 15 minutes left. If anybody else has any more stories they want to share or anything like that, announcements, things like that. Actually, Boomer, do you ever paint any of the things that come through? Have you ever tried doing that?
No.
He's like, that's just one crazy
Well,
canvas.
I mean, he is a really good painter, and some of the images that like even tonight,
I mean, the images I get from most of them are very graphic and relate specifically to their demise, and to see them once is enough. So I knew a long time ago I would not. There's only one thing I ever drew that I got an image of. It was of a boy with a scar above his eye, and he had, like, in the vision, I couldn't see his eyes. It's not like it was a face without eyes, but like it was kind of. I didn't see the eyes as a feature. So I just put sunglasses on him too, because I didn't want to draw it the way I saw it because it would freak me out. But something told me I had to draw it, and I just started drawing. And to this day, I have no idea who it was about or who it is, but I got a vision of this boy, and somebody told me to draw it. I still have it here somewhere.
McGee Film says, this is cool. Is this what you do all the time? No, this was something sporadic. It just kind of happened.
It's something I used to. I mean, that's how I started out on YouTube with my original YouTube channel. I started out doing sessions with people. It just got to be too much for me because I had no way of controlling it, no way of controlling how much energy is used for it. But now that I have done it for a while now, about 2 years now, I've been actively practicing it, doing private sessions with people, and I've done sessions on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube. I would do live sessions. That's how I started YouTube.
Rachel Miss M says, this is fascinating. Jeremy Fryer says, my uncle lived with me and passed away just over a year ago, and I think I had his ghost in my house until about 6 months ago. I kept finding my cupboards open in my house, and I asked him to leave, and nothing's happened since that I've asked him to leave.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's interesting because, like, usually they don't want to leave so willingly and so quickly. Usually it takes at least a week or two to convince them. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You just simply say, hey. I mean, it took me 2 days to get rid of Thomas.
Rebecca says, "Y'all have a great night." Night, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Night.
Yeah, there. I mean, I didn't mean to spend that much time again.
No, you're good. Yeah. I mean, that was a vital piece of information that came through for JoJo.
I'm still hung up on this cherry pie thing. We haven't resolved that, so that's going to be playing over and over in my mind.
I'll talk to you after.
All right, cool.
Yeah, when we go off the air, just stay on the call and the hangouts.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
We can go from there.
All right.
I think with that in mind, I think we are probably going to wrap it up now and say goodnight to Vesper. Thanks, Vesper, for being such a great moderator in there and dropping all those links and everything for everybody. Doing a wonderful job.
Vesper.
I'm back, guys. I just had to spring the leak. Know what that's like.
Yeah, we just getting ready to wrap it up so Boomer could talk to JoJo after on the thing.
All right, no problem. Yep, we can do that.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. McGee Films, Rachel MS, Rebecca Fam. What? Hi.
We'd like to thank everybody for coming onto the panel and explaining the stories.
And our special guests, Uber Goober Lady, of course, Boomer Rock, Amy writing vlogs. Do we have anybody else up here tonight?
I don't think
Nope.
so.
No? Okay. All right.
And thank you, Amy, for being on the panel.
Oh, thank
And,
you
yes,
for having me.
sorry we couldn't get you up on here last week. I don't know what was going on with the hangouts, but
it wasn't you. It was probably me.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, maybe one day I'll sing for you.
That'd be nice.
Since that's really what I do most of the time. But
how did you get into the paranormal?
Me?
Being a singer. Like, what led you to the...
Oh, nothing led me. It's just that's the experience I've had. Like, I'm not. I just like checking out everybody. Really, like. I mean, I wasn't making up stories for your thing. These things happen, but I find everything. I find so many things fascinating, all different shit. Like I watch one who's like a gamer, and I like cried when I thought he wasn't going to be on anymore, and I thought I was to be blamed because I thought I sang cover songs and he got in trouble, but it turned out it wasn't that, and I've been on. But yeah, like I just find, and I kind of go out there, and I guess it's easier for me to say it this way, but it's like I just want people who support me, who really want to watch my stuff, as you I'm sure do too.
Make sure I subscribe to you.
Oh, well, I wasn't saying that to do that, but if you do, that's great.
I want to.
Yeah, so if you like, if you like singing, and I try to have funny stuff, that's for you. But it was kind of driving me crazy because there was somebody on here. It's like, oh, I got you, got me, and it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
I want you to be more into, because I literally, if you go onto my channel, say anything to me and leave a comment. Yeah. I will go right onto your channel. I am going to watch something of yours, and I'm going to tell you in your comment what exactly I watch, and have a conversation with you if I can.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I have 216 people, so obviously it's a little easier than when you start hitting thousands, but it's still important to me. And I feel like a true supporter is one that will support you. There's a difference between hitting a red button.
You're right along the lines of how I think about it.
I realized, like, in my case, like, I'd rather it be slower and get people who appreciate what I'm doing. Like, I'm originally going to, eventually, I changed my mind. I was going to post an original tomorrow. But I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to hit 1,000 people before I did it. Someone thought I'd chicken out. I'm like, I didn't chicken out. I'll sing for you. I've sang, if you go on certain streams that I've, not that I feel like, I don't go on everybody's streams, but like my mom has one, so I sang on hers and this other person's. So it's not like you can't hear it if you didn't know where to find me, sort of thing. But yeah, I thought maybe that's a better idea. Hit 1,000, good goal, and then start putting real stuff. Right now, it's just cover stuff and whatever people want to hear me sing.
Oh, that's cool, because I love it. Like, I don't know if you know who Dreamwalking Angel is.
All right, guys, I gotta go pick up my I guess it'd be soon-to-be daughter-in-law.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Congratulations.
congrats.
It's
Congrats.
baby mama is who I gotta go pick up.
Oh, okay.
All right.
My stepson's baby mama.
All right.
All right.
So, I will catch you guys next week
Yep.
on my channel for E.V.P'S Every Voice Paranormal Stories. And thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Wonderful panel, wonderful show, and I will catch you guys next week. I'll let Brian finish the wrap up. All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
So at this point, I would like to say thanks, Boomer, for being on the panel. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Thanks. And Boomer, you're very interesting. It was nice to hear you and talk. I didn't talk much to you, but
Yeah, it was great to have you.
if you ever know something about someone, then definitely comment on mine. I'd love to hear it.
No problem.
No pressure. No pressure.
Good.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap this, and we will see you guys next week on Ghost.